The era of deception, how the Trump administration lied to America and the world. There has never been a presidency in modern history so deeply defined by deceit, confusion, and deliberate manipulation of truth as that of Donald J. Trump. The Trump administration did not merely distort facts. It weaponized misinformation as a political strategy, both domestically and internationally. In a world desperate for stability, truth, and leadership, Trump turned the White House into a theater of chaos and propaganda, undermining democratic institutions, isolating allies, and emboldening autocrats. A culture built on lies. From his very first day in office, Trump's administration set the tone. The size of the inauguration crowd, an issue so trivial, became the first major lie. His press secretary Sean Spicer insisted that Trump's inauguration had the largest audience ever, despite photographic evidence proving the opposite. The message was clear: facts no longer mattered, only loyalty to Trump's version of reality did. Over 4 years, the Washington Post documented over 30,000 false or misleading statements by Trump. From claiming that COVID-19 was totally under control, to insisting he won by a landslide in the 2020 election, every lie carried consequences. They eroded public trust, polarized the nation, and turned truth itself into a political weapon. When facts became inconvenient, Trump simply denied them, and when experts spoke up, they were silenced or fired. This deliberate assault on truth dismantled the credibility of U.S. institutions from within, lying to the American people. Trump's incompetence was masked behind a curtain of slogans: "Make America Great Again," "America First." In reality, his policies did the opposite. On healthcare, he promised better and cheaper coverage for everyone. Instead, he tried to dismantle the Affordable Care Act with no replacement. On jobs, he vowed to revive American manufacturing. Yet under his trade wars, U.S. farmers lost billions, and manufacturing jobs declined even before the pandemic. On taxes, his 2017 tax reform overwhelmingly benefited billionaires and corporations while adding $2 trillion to the national debt. And perhaps most tragically, on COVID-19, Trump's lies cost lives. He called it a Democrat hoax, mocked mask wearing, and suggested people inject disinfectant, all while secretly knowing, as later revealed in interviews with Bob Woodward, that the virus was deadly. More than 400,000 Americans died under his watch, and much of that devastation could have been prevented with honest leadership. Lies on the world stage. Trump's deceit didn't stop at America's borders. It became a global contagion. The United States, once seen as a beacon of democracy and reliability, was suddenly unpredictable and dishonest under Trump's foreign policy. He praised dictators like Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, and Mohammed bin Salman, while alienating allies in Europe. He withdrew from critical international agreements: the Paris Climate Accord, the Iran nuclear deal, and the Trans-Pacific Partnership, decisions that isolated America and weakened its global standing. When the CIA concluded that Saudi Arabia's crown prince had ordered the brutal murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, Trump publicly defended the regime, saying, "Maybe he did, maybe he didn't." The moral authority of the United States, once a defender of human rights, collapsed under this hypocrisy. He also lied to the world about peace. Trump claimed to have achieved historic peace in the Middle East through the Abraham Accords, yet he ignored the Palestinian question entirely, gifting Jerusalem to Israel and inflaming tensions across the Arab world. His so-called peace plan was nothing more than a blueprint for apartheid, granting one side absolute power and erasing decades of international consensus. In international politics, credibility is power, and Trump destroyed America's. Allies stopped trusting Washington. Enemies stopped fearing it. The United States became a punchline in global diplomacy. Incompetence disguised as strength. Trump's greatest illusion was convincing millions that chaos equaled strength. His reckless tweets became foreign policy. His impulsive decisions, like withdrawing troops from Syria without warning allies or generals, destabilized regions and betrayed partners. He claimed to drain the swamp, but instead filled it with billionaires, lobbyists, and family members. Under his rule, the State Department was gutted. Experienced diplomats were sidelined, leaving critical global positions unfilled. Scientists were silenced. Journalists were called the enemy of the people. Truth became treason. Trump governed not with strategy but with ego. Every policy, every statement, every insult was designed not for the nation's good but for his image, his base, and his personal gain. The United States, once a model for democratic governance, looked increasingly like the autocracies it once opposed. The legacy of lies. The damage of the Trump administration cannot be measured only in policies undone or treaties broken. It lives on in the mistrust of truth itself. A nation divided by conspiracy theories, manipulated by propaganda, and radicalized against its own institutions. Even after losing the 2020 election, Trump refused to accept reality, spreading the big lie that the election was stolen. That lie culminated in the violent January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, a moment when his supporters, fueled by delusion and rage, tried to destroy democracy itself. That was the final, grotesque symbol of his presidency. A leader who lied so completely that his followers no longer recognized reality. The price of deception. The Trump administration will be remembered not just for its lies, but for how it normalized them. It showed how quickly a democracy can rot from within when truth becomes optional. For Americans, the price was division, chaos, and death. For the world, it was the loss of trust in a superpower that once promised integrity. Truth is the foundation of democracy, and Trump's era is built to destroy it. The greatest tragedy is not that he lied, but that millions believed and believe in him.